Hey guys, welcome back to Witch Baby Wednesdays. Today I'm going to be talking about how to start casting spells safely. So if you want to know that, keep watching.
One day I'll be a queen with a kingdom all for me, and I'll cherish everything as I drop to my knees, 'cause I know.
Hey guys, welcome back. I'm Darian. This is Darian Empire, my channel, where I have tons and tons of content on how to free yourself, live your dreams, heal yourself of depression, heal yourself of anything, and now this new series, Witch Baby Wednesdays. So I've been on my witchy journey for about a year now, but for those of you that don't know, I have been a spiritual teacher for probably about 5 years now, 4 or 5 years online, and I've pretty much been a teacher of life my whole life and been on a spiritual path for the last 10 years. Oh my gosh. Ever since my spiritual awakening back in 2009, at least my first awakening. And so these concepts are not new to me. So essentially I was doing witchcraft and studying witchcraft, or studying the same ideals and theology, essentially, not the theology, but the ideals and ideology of witchcraft for many years. So I do have a background in this information. If you go watch my channel, I know a lot about this stuff. So, what I don't know is as much is switching the lingo to fit the witchcraft lingo. But, I've been teaching the law of attraction for a long time. So I know a lot about vibration. I'm an empath. I know the concepts of energy very well. So when it comes to casting spells, I think that there's a lot of very important things that you're not typically going to learn really in very many modern places where we're talking about witchcraft. So online, we're not talking as much about it as I feel the conversation needs to be spoken more about, and definitely in a lot of books. So in a lot of books, and a lot of books, they're great books. They're wonderful. They give you recipes for spell work. A lot of it is recipes for, medicinal herbs and things like that. But if you're really casting magic, you have to know the concept of energies. You have to know a lot deeper things. And so I want to show you or give you some tips on how to start casting spells in a safe way. And the reason I say a safe way is because not that it's dangerous to cast spells, because it's not. It's casting a spell is the same as, the thoughts that you think, the intentions that you have. That's all spells that you're casting. The words that you speak, the words that you affirm every single day. If you complain all day long, you're casting a spell. You know what I mean? So that's just as dangerous, you know what I mean? But a lot of times when we put a lot more intention into it, we're really, really paying attention, things can tend to backfire, and I'll tell you exactly why they will backfire on you. And especially they're going to backfire if you don't know anything about energy, if you don't know anything about the universal law, if you don't know anything about the way the world works, the science behind the way the world works. I think that this is really important stuff to understand. I've been teaching it for many years on my channel. Go watch Freedom Friday, which is a series that I did for years that taught all about the law of attraction and universal law and things like that. So, that's all really important stuff to understand when you're casting spells. But I think that the typical, let's say, new witch, not really understanding, or not necessarily that you don't understand, but like you're coming just into the game. You think, okay, I'm going to try to cast a spell. I'm going to, here's what I want. I want a man, or I want this particular guy. I get a lot of that. Love spells. People have been asking about love spells. I am going to do a video on my take, my advice on doing love spells, which is for another video. But, people will say, whatever, you want this to occur, you want this in your life. And when you don't understand vibration, when you don't understand energy, when you don't understand what it means to truly ask, or how to truly ask for what you desire, your spell work is going to come back all sorts of wonky. You're going to get things will backfire, things will not work out as planned, or they won't work at all. And it's the struggle that many people trying to use the law of attraction have had for a very long time. If you don't understand vibration, on a very deep, intimate level, then you won't understand. So before I go any further, I do want to mention you guys did enjoy the tarot reading that I did last week. So I am going to do a tarot reading at the very end of this video. I'll pull a quick card or two. This is the Sacred Creators Oracle deck from Chris Ann. She's got 2 more decks coming out very soon, the Light Seer and the Muse Tarot, which I'm super excited for the Muse Tarot, but this is her first deck. So I'm going to pull from that at the end of the video, so stick around for that. And just know that there's no timestamp on it. It's just whatever you need right here and right now. So first let's talk about energy. Understanding that a spell is not necessarily sitting down and putting herbs together and asking for something or speaking an incantation. That's only like 10% of a spell. A spell, as I said in the beginning here, is the words that you speak all day. It's the thoughts that you have all day. It is the feelings that you're feeling all day, throughout the day. You are casting spells. You are painting the picture. Here's the thing. We are all magicians. We are all witches in our own sense, whether you identify with that word or not. The actual, what it means to be a witch is that we are the magicians of our own lives, right? That's one of the things that it means to be a witch. Every single one of us is the magician of our own lives. Whether we claim that term or not, we claim that label or not, we are all the magicians of our own personal life, our own personal experience. When you know that, when you understand that, that's really the basis of all of your spell work. You gotta know that. It's not like, oh, well, I do this spell because I'm saying these words and I'm putting these herbs together, and so this is going to work. What I've been noticing a lot in the witch world and people that have been asking me questions is, it seems, not for all witches, but a lot of the new witches, it seems that people tend to have more faith in the spell than they do in themselves. That's just ridiculous. You are the magician. You are the magic. You are the magic. Point blank, period. There is no spell that's more magic than you. You are the magic. Now, there could be ancient spells that have an accumulation of energy, of magical energy that's kind of like, what is the word? A momentum of energy that's been accumulated over the years when you say these certain words or you cast this certain spell, that maybe it's an ancient spell. That's, that's definitely true. All the more reason to take on the understanding that you are the magician, because if you're working with magic that is greater than you accept that you are, if you're working with a magic that has a power that's greater than you accept that you are. So what I'm saying is, there's no spell that's more powerful than you, but if you think the spell is more powerful than you, then it will overpower you. Okay, so one of the things that I've said for a very long time, the reason I named my business and my channel here Darien Empire, is because we're all the kings and queens of our own lives. We're all the magicians of our own lives. We're all the rulers of our own lives. But if you're not sitting on your throne, someone else is ruling your kingdom. So that's what that means. If you're not sitting on your throne means I accept my power. I accept my power. And it's not an ego power, it's a divine power. It's not a I rule over you, it's a no one rules over me within my own life and my own experience. So you really got to know that before you start doing spell work, and understand that all throughout the day, every thought that you have, every feeling you have, every thought you think, every feeling you're feeling throughout the day, every vibration, every bit of energy that you feel, every time you complain about something or you embrace something and you celebrate something, that is all creating everything that's going on around you. So we're in the habit a lot of times of thinking that we're in reaction to what's happening around us, but we are the cause of everything that's happening around us, right? We are the cause. This is universal law. This is like Witchcraft 101. You got to know this stuff. You got to know universal law if you're really going to accept your own power and know how these things work, right? So let me just give you a couple of tips. If you're just starting off doing witchcraft, casting spells and such, I would not go into specifics. I would not start off. And again, it's not like you have to go this way. Of course, you can do it the hard way. You can go specific and then have it, backlash and then have to fix it. And you can do it the hard way. You can stumble through things. But what I'm going to suggest today is probably an energetically easier way to do things. And it's going to allow you to just ease into your magical practice, ease into accepting your power, ease into really becoming close with your practice, having an intimate practice, an intimacy with your own magic and with magic of the universe and with universal law and with God or whatever you call that, right? So here's what I would do. Instead of saying, okay, I want this person, or I want love, or I want a man, or I want this specific house, or I want to change the way this person reacts to me, or whatever it is that you want to manifest in your life or to bring forth into your life or conjure or whatever terminology you use, it's all pretty much the same. I wouldn't go specifically. What I would do is one of two things. One, I would start to do internal magic, okay? I don't know if that's actually a term, but I just termed it, so there you go. I would do internal magic, self-magic, magic on the self. If you're not feeling happy and in alignment, cast a spell to feel better than you feel right now. Cast a spell for source to come and help you to feel happy. Cast a spell for something like that. So, you know what you need. And if you don't know what you need, you definitely shouldn't be casting spells. Do you know what I mean? If you aren't intimately in alignment with who you are, what you need, how you feel, what your true, genuine energy is. Like, we're being so influenced by the world so often that very often we don't even know what our real energy feels like, right? So there's got to be a lot of peeling back of layers to truly know who you are on an energetic level, to truly feel the essence of your own soul. And a lot of times you may think you know your own soul, and when you really start doing when you really start doing like energy work and clearing and boundaries and protecting yourself and all of that stuff, you discover that your energy is much different than you thought it was. That definitely wasn't my experience. That's the experience of a lot of people. I can see people, and I can see, just being able to see their own energy, being intuitive myself and being an energy healer, I can see that they're influenced by many other energies, right? That they're making choices based off of an energy that they've picked up from somebody else. They think maybe it's the same as a spell, right? If you cast a spell on somebody that is alluring, that makes you alluring, you're influencing them to feel allured by you, to be more attracted to you. You're influencing them. So people are doing that all day long, right? You meet a man that's a charmer, he's putting a spell on you. That really is what's happening. And if you ever notice that, like, when you're around a certain person, you feel so allured by them, and then when you're not with them, you're like, I have no desire for that person. But for some reason, when I'm with them, I all of a sudden think that I do have a desire for them, right? So you're picking up their own influence on you and the energy. So they're essentially, whether they're really purposely, intentionally casting that spell as like a witch performing a spell, or they've just learned that this is a way for them to easily influence people. We're all we're all magicians, we're all casting spells, we're all doing it whether you call it that or not, okay? So, to be a witch, to be a practicing witch and practicing your craft is really to start just doing it with intention, doing it more cognizantly, if that's a way to say that, but really being aware of the spells that you're casting, because you're already casting spells all day long, so just like accept that, get over it, but to really sit down and do it with purpose and with real intention and really thinking about, calculated, what do I actually want here? What are my desires? So figuring out what you want, who you are, what your desires are, those are the kind of spell casting you should start doing. And, then you're not influencing other people. You're not messing with the will of others, and people get all weird with that. I mean, people are going to be influenced and be influential no matter what, whether you're casting spells or not. So again, that's a whole nother video. But So here's what I would do is once you really feel like you've gotten, maybe you feel you've gotten a sense of yourself, or you want to do it this way. Let's say you start casting a spell let's say you cast a spell once a week, or every full moon and new moon. That's a great time to cast spells, or, something like that. I would cast spells for a very general feeling, because when you think about a general feeling that you want, we all know that we want to be happy, or we all know that we want clarity. We all know that we want to feel confident. Or maybe you don't know that. Like, maybe you feel a little bit like, oh, I want to feel confident, but I feel like if I'm too confident, that's going to look really bad, or whatever. That means that you're not clear on what you want. So find an emotion that you can be really, really clear about, and then cast a spell for that emotion, right? So maybe love is a little bit too much. Maybe love is something that you're not clear about because love has had some negative connotations in the past, and you're like, oh, if I'm asking for love, whatever. Maybe you want a clear connection to source. Maybe that, it's all going to determine how you feel. You have to feel really clear about what you're asking for before you start asking for it. So find a way to get really clear. Like, maybe you're in a lower vibrational state, and you got to know these things. You got to know yourself. So if you're in a lower vibrational state, you're not feeling ecstatic, you're not feeling happy. Maybe you're just kind of like, I'm a little bit down, I'm a little bit pessimistic, And so maybe what you want to ask for is being able to see the positive things in life. Or maybe you want to feel appreciation. Maybe you just want to be able to feel what it feels like to appreciate something. So you can cast a spell to ask for appreciation, right? And now you can cast that spell any way, right? So if you could write something down, you could do an affirmation every day. That's a spell. You could light a candle with it that feels like, think about a color. For some reason, the color yellow is coming to me when I think about appreciation. I think about the color yellow. There's a little bit of joy in the concept of appreciation, and it feels clear to me, right? Like, there's this clear asking. I know that I want to appreciate. I know that I want to feel that feeling. So cast that spell, and maybe it's a spell that you cast every day for 9 days, or every day for 3 days, or whatever. Maybe you cast it every single day through the moon phases, just to practice feeling the vibration of appreciation, and then that will start to come to you. You'll start to see things that you appreciate, and then take note of that, right? Take note, write that in your grimoire, write that in your witch journal. Oh, today I saw, these are all the things that I just automatically appreciated it without any effort. I didn't have to put any effort into appreciating, and that would be your spell worked. Right? So something as easy as that. These are safe, simple ways to start doing that. And then go from appreciation to, I want to stand in my truth. What does that feel like? I want to feel clear, and I want to have a ton of clarity about who I am, and feel really strong and grounded. That feels really grounded to me. So I would do something with earth energy. I would maybe call to the north, call to, the element of earth, bring whatever, bring crystals, bring dirt, plant a flower, whatever feels, or plant a tree, something that feels really grounding to you, and set the intention, I am grounding in my truth. And maybe every time you water that tree, maybe every day or every other day you water that tree, and you set the intention, like you pray over the water first. You bring the source within you, the truth within you, into that water, and then you send it into the tree, and you imagine it going into the roots, and you imagine the roots going, like, really rooting down, and that being you, that representing you rooting down into your truth, right? So these are really, you can just make this shit up. That's the thing about spells, is there's no real one way of doing this. You pick an element that feels like something, and it's all so personal to you. If there's a flower that feels like truth, if there's a color, the color blue feels like truth to me. It always has. And I have blue crystals, and I could maybe put blue crystals around that a tree, or I could maybe do a crystal grid and infuse my intention. Imagine the intention of the word truth and the energy of truth going into these crystals every day. I would definitely practice doing these every day. I don't think that spell work should be one and done. I mean, we need to get into alignment with the energy of what we desire. And so when we want to bring something in, yeah, when you've gotten really, really good at spell work, you can just do one spell and it's done and you know that you did it. But when you're just practicing, you're just starting off, I definitely would practice doing these spells every day, just to, not because you're like, I'm asking for something that I don't have yet, but just that you're in the joy of practicing it. So I would start off with very general energies of desire, right? So you know that you like those things. You might want confidence, you might want, and maybe it's like, I just want to feel pretty good all day. I want to feel balanced. I just, don't ask for more than you're ready to ask for. That's probably the biggest advice, the best advice that I could give anybody doing spell work. Don't ask for more than you're ready to ask for. How do you know if you're not ready to ask for it? It doesn't feel good when you ask for it. If you ask for something and you feel nothing but the lack of it, you are not ready to ask for it. And I promise you, it will only create a bigger gap between you and the thing you desire. Trust me, I've been doing this shit for a long time. I know what I'm talking about. As far as, the spell work, I haven't been doing it, but I've been calling it spell work, but I know about the law of attraction. I know about universal law. Those of you that follow me for a while, you know I know this stuff. And so if you ask for something that you know you're not ready to ask for, you will push it away because you're creating more resistance, right? So just think about wherever you stand on a certain subject. If you continue to focus on wherever you stand on that subject, it's going to grow. So if you have clear vibrations about something, meaning like, I know for certain that I want to be rooted in my truth. I know that. That feels good in my body to say that. I know that. If I continue to stand in that, I'm only going to be stronger rooted in my truth as I ask for it. But if I think about like, oh, I want love, well, then I start thinking about all the heartbreak that I've had and all that, you know what I mean? So it's like, well, maybe that's not what I want. Maybe I want only God's love right now because that feels pure and that feels clean, and maybe, and you just have to know yourself. So ask for what you're ready to ask for. Sometimes it's just going to be, I don't want to be pissed off anymore. I just want to be okay. Maybe you're not ready to ask for being ecstatically happiest person alive when you've come from feeling like crap all the time, At the end of the day, I promise you what you desire the most is to feel good, right? And every bit of work, just know this, every bit of work that you do internally, all of that internal magic will show up, will be reflected on the external, because just as above, so below, as within, so without. That is universal law, hermetic principles, right? So know those things before you start doing spell work. And there's that. So don't mind me. Also, I'm like sweating with these lights on right now. And the humidity here in Philadelphia is crazy. Okay. So right now, I just want you to think about if you have a specific question to ask. This could be pertaining to spell work, or it could be pertaining to something completely different. I'm just going to shuffle the cards, and you can think about what you want. Make sure that what you're asking for is clear, right? A clear ask gets a clear answer. I'm going to pull 2 cards. Okay. This is just exactly what I just said. What do you really want? I'm not sure if I bring it closer, it's only going to get fuzzy. So, what do you really want? What do you really want? What do you really want? I don't really need to explain that one. And prosperity's sisters are happiness and joy. Ooh, and there's thunder outside now. You could do some spell work in the thunder. It's nice. So, okay, so what this is telling you is that whether you're doing this for your spell work or whatever, just everything in life, there's a reason that you were drawn to this particular video, and Source is really asking you, is telling you to you got to get clear on what you want, on who you desire. And getting clear, there's a sense of presence that happens. When I feel clear about what I want, all of a sudden I'm brought into the moment. And in that moment, in every moment, in this moment, in every now that is occurring in the moment, is the only place we have the ability to create what we desire, right? So when we have this sense of clarity, it brings us into the state that we need to be in to create that, to make that come true, to make that happen. So starting to do magic to gain clarity for you is going to be really important. I also have a sense that some of you may have been like, I want money, I need money. Money is a physical thing that represents something magical to you. It represents something energetic to you, and it represents something emotional to you. Your goal should be to get really, really clear about what that is. These cards are saying that joy and happiness is probably what you really desire. Abundance, but what does abundance actually feel like, mean to you? You know, does money mean support for you? Does money mean freedom? Does money mean being able to have something? Money is not really a goal in a manifestational sense. Like when you ask for money, it's a weird ask because money means something different to every single one of us. And so what you're really asking for is what money represents to you, because money is just a piece of paper. You know, when you really think about it, it's just a piece of paper. So it's the meaning that you've given behind money, and then you've said that you're lacking that, right? So you've accepted this lie that you're lacking money. So we all have really wonky-ish when it comes to love and money, right? But I'm really feeling like getting really clear right now. I think that what Source is telling us through these cards is that you're being asked to get really clear about your worth, to get really clear about value, what you value in your life, to be really clear about what you truly desire. Uh-oh. The wind's blowing outside. So get really, really clear about what is prosperity to you. What does it mean to prosper? What does that mean to thrive? You know, your spell work should be really focused on that. I'm thinking for like the next week, the next month, you know, something that I really think like it should be something that is almost calculated, something that you can keep track of. You know, maybe it's daily journaling, maybe it's I do a little spell every day and I write down how I feel. You know, I'm doing the same spell every day about getting clear about money or about my worth or about value or whatever. And, you know, every day I'm jotting down how I feel. I think that would be a fantastic spell ritual for you to do every single day for the next moon cycle. Right? So we have a new moon coming up very soon. We've got like a couple days until the next new moon. And I think that would be perfect to start doing something like that. And just start really small and just feel like I can tell already that those who are watching, some of you that are watching, not all of you, but some of you that are watching can really feel like this. It's almost like a sense of relief that you're feeling right now, that you're like, oh, this actually feels good. This feels peaceful. This feels like peaceful spell work. Like I don't feel, remember last week we had this like shit show. We had this cloudedness, like, oh, I got all this stuff from all different directions. How am I supposed to start this? You know, witchcraft can be very, very confusing when we're first starting. And this is the real work here. What I'm teaching you right now, this is the real magic. This is the real stuff. Behind all the bells and whistles, this is the real stuff, is getting really intimately acquainted with energy, emotion, the self, your source, magic, and the feeling of desires and what you desire on a very stripped down level, right? Not physical things that you desire, but emotional things that you desire, which is only represented by the physical, right? Don't forget that the physical is all really a projection and an illusion, essentially. So it's a projection of the emotional vibration, which is, you know, that you're in right now, right? The vibrations you're in right now. So don't forget that. Happy spell crafting to all of you. I send you the most love in creating so much magic in your life. and in yourself. And I would love to know down below, what are some of the ideas that popped in your head after watching this video? And I will see you next week. Be sure to share this video with your other witchy friends, and I will see you guys next week. Bye-bye.
Hey guys, thanks for watching this video. If you liked it, be sure to give it a thumbs up. And if you want to connect with me outside of YouTube, head on over to my Instagram to say hello, watch behind the scenes stuff, and check out any special announcements that I might have going on. Now, if you haven't already, head over and watch one of these awesome videos and subscribe to the channel. I'll see you on the next video, guys.
That's where my dreams come in and take me away to a better place, where love is real and all my